Hey everybody, welcome back to Plum Figgy. This is Tammy. Okay, so let's keep working on the Christmas journals that I've got started. This fun little Dollar Tree / thrift store challenge that I've set for myself. Okay, so last week, it's been a week already. I'm sorry about that. You know how it is when you work in retail, e-commerce. The few weeks before Thanksgiving are crazy. It's just crazy. And I didn't have the energy or the time really to really film, and I did want to, but every night I came home and I just had extra work sometimes, and then, you know, life. But anyway, sorry. I digress. Okay, so last week we were working on creating these patchwork pages, and so I kept working and came up with quite a few. I think I ended up with 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So yes, now I'm remembering. Okay, so we're gonna do 3 signatures in this journal, and we're gonna use the cover as our cover. I'm still trying to decide on if I wanna change this much or not. I don't know. I mean, I'll obviously cover this, probably cover this, but we'll see about the image there. Anyway, that's for another time. For today, what I want to do is get these signatures put together. So we're going to have 3 signatures. 3 signatures? Yes. 3 signatures in this one. And I like to do 8 pages per signature. So what I tend to do, my little process that tends to work pretty well for me when I'm creating signatures, is I'll just make 3 piles now. So we'll have, because we have 3 signatures, we're going to do, let me pull this down just a little bit so you can see. So I literally just, I'm not even really paying attention to what pages are in each signature at this point. I may or may not make changes after the fact. Like, some of these might lend themselves better to being the very first page, like maybe this one that says Merry Christmas. But for right now, I'm literally just trying to get everything sorted and the same number of pages if possible. You know, it's not a perfect science. There's always pages that maybe aren't exactly the right number, signatures that don't have the exact same number. And so then we've got 4 pages of patchwork pages for each signature, which means if I want 8 pages per signature, I want 4 more non-patchwork pages per signature. And so of what I've dyed, I only had these and these pages left. I didn't have any of the grid pages that were dyed left, and I don't have time to dye more at this point. It's a whole process and it's long. So at this point I've got 2 of each, so that'll make our 4. So I'll go ahead and add those. Sorry, I just like chug coffee, so I'm a little bit jittery. My hands are like so we've got our 3 piles. Now I'm going to set the first 2 off to the side, and we'll focus on this. So then I like to just separate my different kinds of pages depending on the, you know, no matter what kind of journal you're making, you're always going to have different kinds of pages, whatever they may be, and by type. It is kind of how I think about it. And so at this point I'm just trying to decide what might be a good cover page or first page for this signature. I think this one's pretty nice. So you know, you could start with one of these pages on the outside, but actually I don't want to do that because I do want to see this as the first thing. So then I'm just gonna do pretty much probably every other one. I'm gonna move this over here so these are in the middle. Every other one, again, not really paying tons of attention to which pages are going where. In different kinds of journals, I would definitely pay more attention to that. But for this one, I just don't feel like, since the patchwork pages are already so random, I don't really feel like these other non-patchwork pages are going to be that much different that I'm going to need to worry about it so much. So there's signature number 1. I'll just put that off to the side and upside down. And again, I'll decide later. Okay, I got a folded one and a non-folded one. Same with this. Okay, I'll decide later, you know, what order the signatures will go in, depending on, again, what I've got going on. Okay, so at this point though, I've got 2 where there's just not, it's pretty generic on the front, and then I've got 2 where we've got this message of a celebration of something. So probably what I'll do is just kind of order these so that they're more staggered. And maybe let's just start with this one. And ooh, I love that little Christmas tree, it's so cute. And we'll just do the same thing. So every other one. And we did a folded page last time, so maybe let's do a not folded page this time. This time, since we've got such a big tea stain paper patch right there, I'm gonna go with this one. And let's see, I want to put it like that so that it opens that way this time. And then we'll have this. Does that match? Again, I'll come back later and maybe kind of rearrange some of these. We'll see. We got some red going with the blue in the same spread. But, okay. So there is signature 2. Actually, yeah, I think maybe I'd like this one as the first one. So we'll do this as signature 2 in the middle. And then, last but not least, we have this one. And again, I'm just double checking. So one folded, one not. And then 2 that are not folded, and that's fine. So let's go through here. Oh, Merry Christmas. Maybe I do want this as the first one, which would be really sweet. Okay, and again, we got 2 that are kind of designs, 2 that are pretty generic, so I'm gonna stagger those like that. And let's do this. And this is where, this is just your gut, right? Like, just don't overthink it if you can. I know it's hard. I'm very much of an overthinker. But try not to overthink it too much. Just kind of let everything kind of just happen, and then you can always adjust later. And even as you're later on decorating your journal, you can rearrange things at that point too. So the whole process should be fun. And the very middle one, on a short one like this, because I'm going to be sewing these into the signature, I'm mostly always going to put this one in the middle and not maybe all the way up or all the way down, because of the way that I sew my signatures in. I hold them like this with my thumb like that, and so I have a little bit more control that way. I can hold on to it either way I'm holding it. If I hold it down here, if I hold it turned around and hold it up here, just makes it a little easier. So okay, so we've got a Merry Christmas start, a celebration of merriment, and this cute door. So I think what I'm going to do, and this is too, I look at the last page in the previous signature with the first page and the next one and see how that looks. Oh yes, I think that's great. So this looks like a really good order. At this point, I know that my top and bottom size is perfect because we used the pages from the actual book cover that we're using as our cover. But as you can see, we've got a little bit of hangover on the right side. In this case, I'm totally fine with leaving it the way that it is. If you didn't want to do that in your journal and you wanted to kind of trim that up so that it all is the same width, so you don't have some of these pages sticking out. I tend to prefer to use my ruler, and I'll just show you quickly. I'm not actually going to do it, but I'll just show you how I would do it. So I line it up against a line on my mat to make sure this side is even, you know, correct, and along the bottom of a line here too, so that we make sure that it's, we're not doing any measuring, but we're going to make sure that it's square. And then in this case, there's not enough really to grab onto to pull. I mean, I've done it before, but it's not fun. So at this point, I would either choose to take my box knife and trim it with it like that. And if I was going to do it that way, I would turn it around and use the metal edge of my ruler. And actually, I would find a line that I want to use as my guidepost, and in this case, this would be the perfect line. And I would just take my knife and not tons of pressure. Obviously, you don't want your ruler to move, but it works better if you use a little bit of pressure, but just let the knife cut and just keep going over it in the same place, and you're going to get a much better result if you do it that way. I'm not the best at this, and it does take some practice, I've found. So don't get discouraged if you're trying to do it this way and it's not really quite working the way you think it should. But yeah, those are basically the two ways. So in this case, if it didn't have like these images that were full page, I would probably back my ruler up just a little bit, give myself a little bit more room to rip. I actually really like the look of that. So that's kind of my go-to. And I use this beveled edge on the ruler for that process. It works really well. So, okay. Didn't really intend to do all that, but hey, maybe you learned something. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Okay, so we've got this ready to go. Now I've got to figure out what I want to do next. I don't normally work on the cover at this point because inevitably when I add decoration to the pages bulk up a little bit, and so I want to make sure that I create a spine that's going to allow for the journal to grow, but not be a gator mouth from the get-go. So that's the goal anyway. So at this point, I would just put this again aside, and we'll address this cover later. And I guess let me just kind of quickly flip through and kind of see what we've got for our pages here, just to kind of get some ideas. I think there is going to be a lot of text, which I feel like this is kind of a missed opportunity. We could definitely use this for journaling space in a different way. So I'm thinking now, I've got all this extra paper that I've, you know, stained, which is going to have to work for both this journal and the other journal. And this isn't all of it. I didn't grab all of it. Well, maybe I did. And then I've got these extra cards as well. So, you know, I'm thinking about, okay, well, I could maybe cover this and make a tuck spot. Another thing I could do is just rip off some scratch paper and just cover the text completely. Although it is kind of nice sometimes to have the text kind of peeking through. So we do still have this paint, which actually is a really cool technique. I'm thinking of this acrylic paint as basically gesso in a way. And I'm really kind of liking the idea of using this paint, drying it, and then using some of that coffee to add some coffee dye to that to just kind of make it a little more interesting, I guess. So yeah, I'm really kind of leaning towards that approach. Yeah. So To be honest, I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted to do for this journal, for this video today, but I think that's what I want to do. I want to go ahead and let's fill in all these spaces where we've got places where we could add tuck spots, we could paint, we could add scratch paper. So I'm gonna just, although, and having that in mind, oh, and yes, I do want to coffee dye like these papers too. So like this is very stark white, being very careful not to get the, drying this before it closes so that it doesn't seal shut. But these kinds of papers, I feel like maybe this is, no, I don't know if this is really the whole recipe. But if it's something like this where it is the whole recipe, I might not cover that, actually. I think that might be a nice thing to keep intact. So we're going to see a whole lot of stuff about tea, because obviously that's what the book is about that I bought. So maybe this right here would be nice, and that's the only thing I keep as far as what about tea, unless it, excuse me, unless it really makes, unless it makes sense to keep. These red borders, I'm still like not in love with them. It's not my jam. It's just really not. And I'm still kind of undecided on, do I cover them? Do I leave them alone? I know a lot of people will like them, so probably I'll just leave them as they are. But they may get covered in certain ways, shapes, or forms. So we'll see how it goes as we go along. This looks like maybe an entire recipe. So again, like, I don't think I'm going to cover anything on that page. We'll just leave that alone. And whoever ends up with this journal, if they want to cover that with their own stuff, they can do that for themselves. A little bit of coffee dye here wouldn't be such a bad thing. Maybe we do a little tuck spot down here of something. Here is one of those card pages where, oh, you probably can't see the whole thing. Definitely want to coffee dye this. Some of these I may keep, some of these sentiments, some of them I might not. This is a really sweet picture, so definitely we'll keep that. And then we've obviously turned this into a pocket, so we can make some ephemera to fill that in. These pages I'm not going to touch at all. I'm going to leave those alone, because that is really good writing space or places for whoever the recipient is of this journal can add pictures or recipes or whatever it might be that you want to use this journal for. Yeah, I've seen this a lot, readying the rooms. I haven't read any of this stuff. To be honest with you, none of this text works for me. I would keep this because it's kind of sweet and it kind of goes with the image that I really wanted to show on this page. So I think you got kind of an idea of my approach, or what my approach will be. Yeah, I'll coffee dye this so that it's a little bit more grungy and not stark white. Yep, this probably would get painted over and coffee dyed, so you'd get some more journaling space. Same here. We'll keep that, you know. So, okay, I think let's go ahead and get started on that. I don't know what to start with first. I think me and my little handheld dryer are going to be best friends today. And I really should put, yeah, I'll definitely put acrylic paint on this. I need to put my glass mat down so I don't ruin my, well, my already stained and ruined surface. Okay, so I'm back. Alright, so this ended up taking a little bit of time because I had to dry every page after I added a new layer of something wet. So as you saw, I had added the acrylic paint, and then once that was all dried, I came back and then added some coffee. And the effect is pretty freaking awesome. I really like it. At first I wasn't too sure what it was going to end up looking like, because it started looking kind of crackled, like, I don't know if you can see it right there. I'm not sure how good this is going to be to write on. I probably should try it on a scratch page, but you could definitely glue things on there, and if you wrote on something else and glued it down or something, that would work. But yeah, I'm really loving the look of it. It's pretty awesome. I'm not sure if you can see how fluffy this became, but yeah, look at this. This is super fluffy now. So I will have to, once I'm all finished, weight these down probably for a few days because they are very fluffy, and this is only the first signature. But let me quickly walk you through. Sorry, I'm just trying to cover some of the glare from my window over here so it's not distracting for you. It is still a bit damp in some places, so I'm just trying to be very careful so I don't rip any papers or anything. But yeah, I'm really loving how this turned out. Is super grungy, and that's kind of what I was going for. I managed to, yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of this because it's in the way. I managed to coffee dye this without this sticking here, and it's dry now, so it won't now. We've got ourselves a pocket there. Yeah, loving the coffee dyeing. It's really helping everything in this journal. This ended up being coffee dyed there. I didn't do anything on this page. I left this page alone. So yeah, we had added this pocket here. This is all coffee dyed now. It's grungy looking. So I'll go ahead and add some paper maybe in there or something. This whole area up here was coffee dyed. Oh, no, that's supposed to be like that. So I did have an issue with this page. So with the card, as you can see, it's kind of coming apart. So I'm going to have to paste some paper down and make a little hinge for it so that it'll stay intact. There's a few pages like that. Or I guess I could just... No, I really want it to be that way. I thought maybe I could make this into a card for another tuck spot or something, but I like it that way, so I'm going to keep it. This page ended up being super grungy, like the rest of them will be. So I like that. Didn't do anything here, didn't do anything there. This one got grungy all on there. So, and yeah, it's just... it's all wavy and everything. So weighing these down with some books is really going to help. Same with this. We got some of that paint showing through. This one I just finished drying, and did have a little issue up here. So again, I'm going to have to kind of fix that before I sew in all these signatures and stuff, because I want to make sure that it's, yeah, see, this is still kind of damp. I just want to make sure it's nice and secure and nothing bad's going to happen. Really love this page. Just, yeah, really like how it's turning out. So, yep, and I didn't do anything here. So, and then this is just from the other side. It got a little bit wet and it's still kind of damp. So, okay, at this point, I'm going to continue and do the same thing with the other 2 signatures so that next time we're going to be ready to kind of do the finishing touches on this journal with some journaling spots and maybe some journaling cards. We'll see. This is already going to be pretty bulky and I don't want a humongous journal. And then we'll obviously have to figure out what to do for the book, the cover. Wow. Alright, so I'll see you guys. I hope you enjoyed this. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.